Taiwan. I'm Eric Gao, bringing you the news from Taipei this Monday afternoon. China may soon be getting U.S.-made AI chips from Nvidia and AMD, as long as those companies hand over 15% of their China sales revenue to the U.S. Treasury. That's according to a report from the Financial Times. It comes amid further reports that Beijing is pushing for looser U.S. chip restrictions as part of a trade deal with Washington. To help us see how these pieces fit together, let's go to our lead tech reporter, Chris Gorn, who is live in our Taipei newsroom. Chris, what's going on with all this chip activity?
Well, I think the key point is what you mentioned, Eric. Nvidia and AMD may be trading 15% of their Chinese sales revenue in exchange for the right to sell their chips there. Now, this is because currently advanced AI chips are restricted by U.S. export controls. There's been an on and off again struggle between U.S. chip makers like Nvidia and the White House over this issue for the past several months. Now, several are questioning whether this move aligns with the U.S. stated goal of slowing down Chinese AI development and keeping America's edge. One analyst that I spoke to sent me a written response that says, in part, while this 15% fee might support U.S. initiatives like subsidies for domestic chip production, it could also harm long-term U.S. tech competitiveness by accelerating China's drive for self-reliance, shifting the global AI landscape in the years ahead. For Taiwan, of course, more chip sales in China means more orders for companies like TSMC, which is good for their bottom line. But the Taiwanese government has also expressed similar concerns to the U.S. about censorship and security in Chinese AI models, so it's a bit of a mixed bag.
And Chris, what do we know about what China wants out of all this?
Well, recent reports seem to indicate that Beijing may be targeting high bandwidth memory, or HBM, more than the full AI chip packages from Nvidia and AMD that we've been talking about. And that's because without HBM, it's really hard for Chinese chip designers to reach the kinds of speeds they need to match their U.S. counterparts. And reportedly, Beijing is asking Washington to lift the export controls on HBM as part of any trade deal with Washington. And tomorrow, August 12th, is also the deadline for which U.S. tariffs against China are supposed to begin. So we should be clear, though, that this 15% fee and the HBM talks have not been confirmed by either side. But we will be watching this story closely as the week progresses. Eric?
Thanks for that explanation, Chris. That was Chris Gorn reporting live from our newsroom. Lawmakers here in Taiwan from both major parties are reacting to reports that U.S. President Donald Trump could be using tariff negotiations to pressure Taiwan into boosting its defense spending.
不管有没有关税问题，我们都要提升国防力量。如果现在能够绑在一起是川普的政策，那对台湾更有利啊！表示美国呢，也必须要出售给台湾需要的一些防卫性武器。
The comments come after the Washington Post reported that a Trump administration negotiation document shows Washington planned to use tariffs to achieve a range of national security goals, including urging Taiwan, India, and Indonesia to spend more on defense or buy more U.S. weapons. The U.S. State Department has not commented on the report. Some lawmakers here say buying weapons won't necessarily improve Taiwan's trade balance.
我们支持政府购买台湾需要的防卫武器，买武器并不会缩小贸易的顺差。第二，大规模购买武器也很可能造成我们其他部门预算的排挤。
Taiwan's military is expected to propose a special defense budget worth nearly $23.5 billion US dollars, while next year's defense spending will increase to 3% of GDP. The National Immigration Agency says it will move to deport a Chinese man who crossed the Taiwan Strait by boat after he broke his bail conditions. Rian Fangyong was discovered at a Taipei seaport last year after allegedly traveling by speedboat from China. The Chinese national claimed at the time that he was fleeing persecution, but he recently revealed in an interview that he had Chinese military ties and a history of smuggling. The immigration agency put Ran on temporary release after his detention period expired, but after the interview, they say they will now move to deport him. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says Beijing is purposely misreading his recent comments that Manila could be drawn into a potential China-Taiwan conflict. China's foreign ministry had accused the Philippines of, quote, playing with fire, after Marcos said in an interview in India that his country would inevitably be dragged into a war over Taiwan. Marcos said geographical proximity and the sizable presence of Filipino workers in Taiwan would pull Manila into any confrontation. Marcos, however, says he is standing by his comments.
I don't know what they're talking about. Playing with fire? I was just stating facts. Despite our fervent wish to avoid any confrontation with anybody anywhere, war over Taiwan will drag the Philippines kicking and screaming into the conflict. That is what I was trying to say.
Tensions between China and the Philippines have been rising in recent months, with increased Coast Guard skirmishes over disputed territories in the South China Sea. Heavy rain brought by Tropical Storm Poomsae at the end of July caused severe damage to some of this year's harvests in southern Taiwan. With Mid-Autumn Festival coming up, a national holiday famously celebrated through food, shoppers may see a significant price hike for seafood and fruit crops from that area. Irene Lin has the story.
Farmers scoop up pile after pile of dead clams out of these coastal aquafarms in the southern county of Yunlin. After Tropical Storm Poomsae brought torrential rain just 2 weeks ago, killing this year's batch. Yunlin County supplies nearly half of the country's clams, about 32,000 tons each year. With Mid-Autumn Festival coming up in early October, when people celebrate food traditions, farmers are expecting a surge in food prices as harvests dwindle. Officials say they're still collecting data on the scale of the damage.
一般文蛤都是延迟性的灾害嘛，因为它那个水质改变下一下比较多，所以我们现在是在等各单位来通报。如果他们发现有农损的部分有文蛤大量快速死亡的话，还是到公所通报。
On mango and dragon fruit farms in neighboring Changhua County, flooding caused by downpours throughout July has caught up to the harvest season. About half of the crop has gone to waste. The damage is long-lasting, with floodwater spoiling tree roots. As the newly formed Tropical Storm Podu approaches Taiwan from the east, farmers in Taidong are seizing this short window of dry weather to save their ready crops from a potential third hit.
那可以采收的尽量尽早采收，免得到时候受到台风的影响，没有办法采收，或者是道路中断，没办法运下来，这个都会受到很大的影响。
While the central and local governments pour in subsidies and personnel to restore homes and infrastructure in typhoon and storm-hit areas, farmers here seek to raise attention to their devastated livelihoods as they brace for more bad weather. Dolphin Chen and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Last month, Taiwan claimed its first gold medal at the 2025 World University Games in Germany, with the women's Taekwondo Poomsae team standing proudly atop the podium. Sandy Chi went to meet the athletes, now back home, to find out more about their road to victory.
A show of power and elegance, with choreographed movements to demonstrate skill and discipline. Meet Taiwan's women's Taekwondo Poomsae team. Chen Xingya, Yang Changying, and Guo Ying. The trio bagged the country's first ever gold medal in the category at the 2025 World University Games in Germany this summer, scoring an average of 8.8 points in the finals, trumping South Korea's 8.7 and the US's 8.4. Their coach Hwang Pei-ying says the young athletes' performance exceeded expectations, the result of around 2 months of training.
他们3个在这么短的时间内可以就是练到这么好，我觉得是因为3个人在训练的时候，我们的共同目标就是拿金牌。
Though it was intense, the team says their training schedule have paid off.
我们这一次跟之前比较不一样，是先把自由品式的编排，然后技术先练好，后面才跟队友们在练公认品式的默契上才开始练习。所以我觉得这是金牌的关键。
Their journey to the top has not been easy. All 3 came to the mat in Germany with knee injuries. Things were especially tough for Yang Changying, who tore her ligaments and part of her cartilage during training.
因为刚选拔完我就受伤，其实我自己已经做好就是被换掉的这个决定，就是我当下是觉得我不要连累队友，我什么都不能做，被换掉也是应该的。所以其实我就是受到他们的鼓励，才想办法一直站起来，不然我觉得我自己不会这么勇敢。
In the end, though, their injuries helped strengthen their bond, enabling them to support one another, with each performing movements that their other teammates found difficult.
那互补的情况下，就变成是他的空翻动作可能少一点，比较对他有危险性的动作，我们把它减少。那比较可以稳定，可能就是脚可以稳定上场的人，我们就把它就是发挥到比较多这样子。
The training process and its success at the games has taught the team valuable lessons about teamwork, perseverance, and self-confidence.
我觉得我的心态成长蛮多的，就还没打这场比赛之前，我会一直陷入我自己做不到。后来就是用量去补了之后，也发现到其实自己是做得到的，只是不愿意相信自己。但这次世大运让我知道，我自己其实是可以的。
For these athletes, they may only have spent a few glorious minutes on the winner's podium, but the feelings of pride and accomplishment will likely last a lifetime. Scott Huang and Sanny Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is on the lookout for more tech talent to bolster its semiconductor industry. But with falling birth rates, it may have to look abroad. Tiffany Wong has more.
Uncovering the secrets of Taiwan's semiconductor power, this group of young foreign students have come to Taiwan to learn more about their chosen industry, straight from the source.
I think it's a pretty unique experience to gain some knowledge on the semiconductor industry. And being Taiwanese, I think it's pretty important to have that knowledge because semiconductor is such a huge part in the Taiwanese economy.
Good morning and welcome.
Held by Hsinchu's National Yangming Jiaotong University and U.S. chip designer Synopsys, this 4-day summer camp is meant to spark an interest in young overseas semiconductor talent. It comes at a time when Taiwan, facing a rapidly declining birth rate, is looking to bolster its leading industry with some help from foreign students.
So there's an urgent need, 非常重要的需求就是我们需要赶快把那个理工科的教育呢往下扎根，所以为什么我们想要在台湾呢做这件事情？一个是台湾的强项，一个是台湾所面临的困境，一起放在一起就很明显，我们就是要先做。
This is the first year the semiconductor camp was held in English, and it attracted students from 8 countries, including the U.S. and Singapore. Taiwan is hoping these foreign students can help keep the country at the top of the industry and maintain its key role in the supply chain.
现在因为有太多的半导体公司，它想要扩张，不管是在台湾或从国外进来的公司，他们都想要在台湾落脚。他们对于这种人才的需求是相当急迫的，也相当需要的。
For the students themselves, the camp was also a chance to learn about Taiwan and imagine a future where they could be a part of its semiconductor industry.
I feel like this camp taught me a lot of things. It brought me into really knowing the industry, including this lab. I think it led me through a lot of innovative techniques that Taiwan developed during the whole process of semiconductors.
As job opportunities in the semiconductor sector rise, Taiwan will continue looking for new talent at home and abroad. Chris Ma and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
And thanks for joining us here on What's Up Taiwan. Grab our mobile app to get all our news reports and other programs on your phone. Finally, take a look at this drone show at the southern branch of the National Palace Museum down in Chiayi. I'm Eric Gao. Take care, and we'll see you next time.